Okay, so in this video, we are coming to an end of all things fractions. We know how to simplify, how to change from a mixed number to an improper, improper to a mixed number, how to deal with mixed numbers, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, simplifying, things like that. Let's kind of skim through this. We also have done some word problems. But let's kind of skim through the word problems and go more so into this other stuff. I think I went a little too far. Hold on. Skipping. Reducing fractions. Okay, we know how to do that. Well, this is easy. Just cross out the 2 zeros here, and you now have 40 over 50. 40 over 50. Both numbers can be divided by 2, so you get 2 over 25. 14 over 18, I can divide top and bottom by 2, and I get 7 over 9. It cannot be simplified any further. So how do you simplify? You divide the top and bottom number by a number they both can be divided by. The GCF, the greatest common factor, right? Like for number 3, it would be 9. And, or it might be actually 18. 18 divided by 18 is 1. 36 divided by 18 is 2. Even if you do not get the GCF right away, you know, for example, let's say I have 40 over 50. And I don't know what the GCF is, so I just divide by 2. And I get 20 over 25. And I'm like, oh, this could be simplified further. I divide by 5. You could just keep going until you can't go anymore. So you don't have to find the GCF right away. That's just a trick, but it is great to find the GCF because then you don't have to keep doing more and more steps. Finding equivalent fractions, also simple. So for example, let's say I have 1/3. You know, if I multiply this by 5, top and bottom, that gets me 5/15. Those are equivalent fractions. For comparing fractions, looking at this can be a bit tricky, but they want you to make them have the same denominator, right? So if I have 3/4, I multiply, I want to get the bottom to 16. So I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 4, and I get 12/16. And then you can then see 12/16 is greater than 9/16. So you can use equivalent fractions to see which one is greater. This is also a trick that I do. I turn these into decimals, right? Use your calculator if you can, or you can use your, skills here. So 4 goes into 3. No, it does not. But if I put a 0, it goes in 7 times. Bring a remainder of 2. It now goes in 5. I put it as a decimal. So you could convert them to decimals and then do it that way as well. Mixed numbers. Convert these mixed numbers to top-heavy fractions, aka improper fractions. So let's do that one. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 plus 7 is 47. You now have 47 over 8. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 plus 2 is 29. You now have 29 over 3. And you can convert them back. Like here. 8 goes into 27 3 times, which is 24. You have 3 left over, so you get 3 3/8. You can check it by multiplying it back and getting back to where you started. Very simple. Scrolling down. Scrolling down. Reducing fractions. Reducing fractions, just divide top and bottom number by a common number, right? Like if I have 5/10, I can divide top and bottom by 5 and get 1/2. That we know how to do. Okay, multiplying these fractions, my favorite. Multiply straight across, 2 over 24. And then simplify, if possible. Divide top and bottom by 2. You get 1/12. So for these, you just multiply numerators and then denominators. When you have a whole number, you just multiply this by the numerator, and there you go. Same thing with this. Multiply it by the numerator, and there you go. So So with whole numbers, you can change these whole numbers, remember, to 6/1 or 9/1. Easy, easy. Multiplying mixed numbers. Okay, convert these to improper fractions. It makes it easier. So let's try the first one. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So 3/2 times 4, 7/4. Multiply it. You get 21/8. And you can change that to a mixed number and simplify if you can. Dividing fractions, take the second fraction, flip and multiply. If you have mixed numbers, change them to improper fractions, and then take the second fraction, flip and multiply. Let's try this one. This is going to get you 4, 5/2. This is going to get you 3/2. Take the second fraction, flip and multiply. And what do you know? You can also cross cancel here and then end up with 5/3. More word problems. Very big packet. Where's the adding and subtracting? You would think they would put that first. Let's kind of skip through this. 2 times 5 is 10. 1 times 5 is 5. And so on. Just multiply top and bottom by the same. We know how to simplify. Here we go, adding fractions. Common denominators, that's easy. Add the numerators, denominator stays the same. What about when we have to change the denominator, like for number 4? So the LCM, least common multiple of the denominators, is 20. So that means we're going to multiply the top number and bottom number for the first fraction by 4, and for the second one by 5, and then add them together and simplify if you can. When adding and subtracting mixed numbers, I also recommend you change them into improper fractions first. When you change numbers from mixed numbers into improper fractions, it makes it so much easier to deal with. And so that's pretty much an overall review of equivalent fractions, reducing, simplifying, which is pretty much the same thing, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. There's some word problems, which we already done not too long ago. And so that's an overall review of fractions. So I hope you learned a lot from this boot camp, and thank you for taking the class, and have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.